Once upon a time, in a far-off kingdom nestled among rolling green hills and bathed in golden sunlight, lived a gentle queen and her radiant daughter. The land was peaceful, but the young princess longed for adventure beyond the palace walls. This is the tale of her courage, a magical talking horse, and a journey through enchanted forests and forgotten secrets, a journey that would change her destiny forever. The princess, now of age, was to journey to a distant kingdom to meet a prince she might wed. Before she departed, the queen pulled her close. "Hide your true name," she warned. "Trust is earned, not given." As the princess prepared, a fairy appeared, offering her two gifts: Falada, a loyal horse who spoke with wisdom, and a silken handkerchief imbued with magic to protect her in times of need. With a heavy heart and quiet courage, the princess set off, her fate unfolding on the wind. The journey begins under a wide, grey sky. The princess rides her loyal horse, Falada, while her maid follows on a small, stubborn donkey. They travel through dense forests and across endless fields. As the hours stretch on, their strength wanes. Dust clings to their cloaks, and thirst gnaws at them. Gently, the princess turns to the maid. "Please, may I have some water?" she asks. But the maid sneers. "Get it yourself, princess," she snaps. A heavy silence falls. The tension thickens like the woods around them. Falada, calm but watchful, lowers his head to the princess. "Be careful," he murmurs, his voice soft as leaves rustling. "All is not as it seems." At a quiet stream, the magic handkerchief slips from the princess's grasp and floats away in the current. The maid, seeing her opportunity, turns cruel. "Without that charm, you're nothing," she sneers. "Give me your royal clothes, or I'll tell everyone you're a fraud." Terrified and powerless, the princess obeys. The maid steals her gown and mounts the princess's noble horse, Falada, pretending to be royalty. The real princess, now dressed in humble clothes, is forced onto a lowly donkey. As they continue toward the palace, the maid basks in her stolen identity, while the true princess silently grieves, her heart heavy with betrayal and fear for what lies ahead. The false princess arrived at the palace with grace and was warmly welcomed by the unsuspecting prince. He believed her to be his true bride and prepared for their wedding. Meanwhile, the real princess, now dressed in rags, was ignored and treated as a mere servant. The cunning maid, fearing discovery, convinced the prince to send the girl to work with the geese in the far fields. She also insisted that Falada, the loyal horse who might reveal the truth, be chained and hidden away in a dark barn, far from sight. Life as a goose girl was hard for the real princess. She had been betrayed and forced to work alongside Conrad, the goose boy, pretending to be someone she wasn't. At night, she secretly spoke to Falada, her beloved talking horse, whose head was now hung on the wall. Though only a head, Falada still comforted her with kind words. Each day, Conrad noticed her golden hair shining in the sun. He tried to grab her clips, but she always called upon the wind to blow his hat away, distracting him. This strange event happened again and again, and Conrad grew curious. Suspicious of her mysterious powers and beauty, Conrad finally went to the king. His complaint sparked questions, and perhaps the beginning of the princess's true story being revealed. The king, curious and cautious, secretly follows the goose girl one morning. Hidden behind the trees, he watches as she speaks gently to Falada, the horse's severed head. Intrigued, he continues watching and sees her summon the wind with a whisper, her golden hair clips vanishing from sight. The king's eyes widen. This is no ordinary girl. Magic is clearly at work. Puzzled but determined, he begins to suspect that the girl is more than she seems. A deeper truth, hidden beneath rags and routine, slowly comes to light. The king invited the girl to his chambers, his voice kind and warm. He gently asked her about the horse Falada, the hairpins, and the wind that always seemed to speak. At his words, the girl's eyes welled with tears. "I cannot say anything," she whispered, trembling. "I'll be punished." But the king knelt beside her and said softly, "You are safe here. Tell me the truth." With a shuddering breath, the girl began. She told him everything: how her maid forced her to switch places, how Falada was killed, how the wind carried her sorrow. From the beginning of her journey to the very moment they met, she held nothing back. The truth, at last, was free. That evening, the king hosts a grand feast, the great hall lit with golden torches and laughter. The real princess, radiant in silks and jewels, sits beside the prince. Across the table, the false princess dines unaware, blinded by her stolen status. Midway through the meal, the king begins to speak, weaving the tale of two girls, one stolen, one raised in shadows. The guests listen, enchanted. Then, the king poses a question. What fate should befall one who lies, who steals another's name and place? The false princess, eager to impress, declares she should be locked away forever. The hall falls silent. The king rises. "Then it is you who must be punished." Gasps echo. Guards step forward. She's taken away. Justice is served, and peace restored. The prince knelt and proposed to the true princess, his heart full of love. Overjoyed, they rescued Falada from the dusty barn, restoring him to his rightful place. A radiant fairy appeared, blessing their union with light and joy. "If your queen mother saw you now," Falada said warmly, "she would be proud." Hand in hand, the prince and princess began a new life, filled with happiness and magic. The fairy stayed beside them, her gentle presence a shield against all harm. And so, they lived their days in love, peace, and enchantment. And so, the brave Goose Girl became a queen, her truth, kindness, and courage echoing through time. And as the stars twinkled above, she ruled with a heart full of love,